Hello, and welcome to this episode of the official podcast. This is the three-man show that features three men. Sometimes we have four, but that's only on special occasions like my birthday and Halloween. Jackson, would you like to begin the episode as one of the three men?
Having an episode with all four of us is slowly becoming a recurring theme. Remember when Charlie, I think he had like 6 years without missing an episode.
Yeah, and he bragged about it too.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was proud of it.
Episode every single month for the last year.
I remember the first time I ever missed an episode because I was the last holdout. And then he, for weeks, would be like, I'm the only member to never miss an episode. Never once missed a single episode of the show. And look where we are now. Look how times have changed. Oh,
I mean, to some degree, we're 7 years in. Like, what can you do? What can you do? He's got
Almost 8.
Elden Rings. Elden Rings to play. He was up all night playing Elden Ring. I saw him awake and streaming about 5 hours ago, so that's why he's not here.
I played it, yeah, for like 4-ish hours, give or take.
I like it.
Yeah, I don't really have much to say. I like it. It's fun, and that's about it. You know, when the original game came out, I was blown away. Like, wow, there's so much to do, and it's so engrossing and so awesome and epic. And this time, you know, it's more of the same, which is not a bad thing. But the initial blown away, the initial impact when it first released is not there. So it's not rocking my world or anything. It's not like taking all my time, but I'm having fun. I like it. I think it's good so far.
How about you, Jackson?
It's more Elden Ring. That's all it is.
It really is just more of the game, which is not, you know, it's good.
That's not a bad thing. Elden Ring is good. So if you like Elden Ring, you'll like good. Elden Ring 1.5.
If they aren't ruining it, that's great.
Yeah.
The news of the DLC and everything made me download the game again, and I've tried to play it twice now. And my only issue is that I'm bad at video games, so I can't really get into it very much. But I want to so bad. Like, I want to like it and enjoy it, but each time I kind of just fizzle out and get bored and give up.
I get that.
Unfortunately.
Wait, why do you want to enjoy it? Like, what's your drive to enjoy it? If you don't enjoy it, you don't enjoy it.
Because I feel like I'm missing out. Like, everybody is praising this game, and it does look cool. It does look fun, and I have enjoyed it a lot, the little that I have played of it. It just, I am no good at video games, and I'm also at that age where, like, I'm not going to sit down and practice a lot. Like, if I die to a boss 20 times, I don't have that drive that makes me want to go for the 100th try. I kind of just feel like, I'm going to go read a book or watch TV or something, you know? So before I get attacked, I'm not one of those like game journos who thinks the game should be easier for people like me. I'm not. I wish I was better at games.
No, Kaya, you and I, I'll stand in your corner. I think I'm in a different place in my life now too, when it comes to game and time wasting stuff like that. If this was a few years ago and Elden Ring came out, I would have been like, okay, this DLC's out. I'm spending the whole weekend doing it. Got to get all my stuff done so I don't have to worry about anything. It's just going to be Elden Ring, baby. But then, like, this weekend, for example, I didn't have much I had to do. But even then, after a couple hours, I'd be like, I kind of want to do something else. I kind of want to, I don't know, do one of these other things that I'm enjoying more. I think a really good example to your point is Mario Wonder. I haven't beaten it yet. I kind of just play it for like 20 minutes here and there when I have downtime. And I gotta say, I'm having more fun with that than the Elden Ring DLC. And I think it's because it's such a pick up and play, simple, fun experience. And I can just immediately get into it and have fun.
Short. Yeah, and the levels are all like 10-minute snacks.
Exactly. Play a level or two and then turn it off and go like, that was great. Whereas with Elden Ring, it is fun, and when I'm in a dungeon, I'm having fun. When I'm fighting a boss, I'm having fun. But sometimes I'm on that horse and I'm in the open area, and I just go, I have to ride all the way over there. Oh God. Fine.
Yeah. Whereas when you were little, that would have made you rock hard. Like, oh,
exactly.
Open world.
Exactly. You totally get it.
So maybe I missed that nostalgia.
You guys have become such casuals. This is embarrassing. What happened?
I know, I am very casual, Jack. Like, my favorite game in the last month has been Parkitect, which is a roller coaster tycoon.
Oh, Parkitect is fucking fantastic. Well, okay, wait, that's not
Parkitect
casual. Simulation games like Roller Coaster Tycoon I would classify as like hardcore. Any sim game, really.
Nah, they can be either. They can go either
I think
way.
You're confusing them with Paradox games. Like Roller Coaster Tycoon and Parkitect are not that deep. there's some.
I don't know. They're not something a casual audience. No, they're not something a casual audience would play. Historically speaking, I don't think so.
They can be. Roller Coaster Tycoon, for example, it was a sim game that all sorts of casual people played.
Okay, wait. So I think, okay, not to create an argument immediately out of the gate, but like I think they have the tone of a casual game in that they're like light and cheerful. They're not like super deep in terms of like gameplay systems, but I still don't think they have a casual audience. I still think everyone that played Roller Coaster Tycoon back in the day was someone who was pretty into like PC games, so they were like a more hardcore audience.
Well, I was like 9 years old when I played it, so I don't know how much I agree with you, to be honest.
Yeah, like PC gaming in general just wasn't a big thing, so all the people playing PC were just autists, min-maxing in Roller Coaster Tycoon. What you're saying is true of like the Paradox games or like Stellaris and such, where you sit down and you actually obsess over every single number.
Well, what about SimCity? What about SimCity and fuck?
I don't know. I haven't played it in a
SimCity is a very casual franchise.
Man, I just disagree. Maybe it's different over here, but no one played it. Like,
would you say The Sims is casual?
Yeah, I would say The Sims is casual, definitely, because of the audience. The audience is definitely more casual.
Yeah. I think there are casual sim games and there are intense sim games. Like, no casual gamer is going to play Dwarf Fortress or shit like that, you know?
Oh, yeah, no. Oh, speaking of games, has this may be news longer than our podcast has existed, but they finally showed us a trailer for Metroid Prime. It finally happened.
Yeah, Metroid Prime 4 coming next year.
That is actually crazy how long it has been, because one of the first or earliest gaming memories I have from you, Kaya, is you like expressing excitement over that initial Metroid trailer. It's like one of the first core memories of you that I had was you being excited for that trailer, and then it was just 7 years of no information or anything.
Of nothingness.
Metroid Prime 3 came out in 2007. That's how fucking long it's take for them to get the announcement out and then say, okay, it's finally actually coming. Good Lord.
I've never played a Metroid game at all. Well, actually, no, I played Metroid Dread for a little bit, but I've never played a Metroid game before Metroid Dread, which was a good game, by the way. But regardless, no Metroid game before that. What's so special about Metroid?
The exploration, it's just fun. And like you know what the term Metroidvania is, and you just go around collecting artifacts, unlocking new areas. That's the fun. The setting is always fun. My first Prime was actually on the Nintendo DS. Metroid Prime Hunters, I think it was called, and I was really big into the online competitive scene there. But yeah, they announced it. We have a trailer, and as you would expect, it already looks dated. Like the graphics don't look good anymore 7 fucking years later, and people are speculating if this is running on maybe the trailer was filmed on the new Switch that they're preparing to announce. Nobody knows. And knowing Nintendo, even the new Switch is gonna have like 2018 Android hardware, so it's already just not gonna be a beefy handheld anyway.
What's hilarious is like Xbox and PlayStation spend like, I don't know, like they operated a loss on their consoles. Like they spend like, I think it's something like $600 to every $500 console, so they operated a loss on the actual hardware, whereas I genuinely think Nintendo spends about maybe like 20 cents on their hardware, and then they sell them at about $500 as well. It's so fucking, I mean, it's incredible.
For most of their products, they also don't even care about graphical fidelity. Like Mario Wonder and then the new Mario Brothers ship are just going completely in, oh, look, cartoony, haha, fun style, and everyone's super hyped for that new game. Like, they can't stop talking about how nice it looks. They don't give a fuck about fidelity. It's great.
I mean, they nail it. They nail what they
nail
do.
Style.
That's so
It's how they milked these consoles for a whole decade. They are so good at making video games just look pleasant.
Yep.
Even on shitty hardware. Which sometimes makes me wonder, like, okay, what if you actually gave Nintendo like a real hardware, like an actual console, like the Xbox, and told them, okay, infinite budget here, make a game. I kind of want to see what that would look like.
Like a Bizarro world where they have to make a Legend of Zelda that looks incredible and runs at 4K, 60 FPS, and all of this shit. Realism.
Maybe. When you say that, my mind just goes to the typical like YouTubers who just boot up Unreal Engine and they import a bunch of files. It immediately looks lifelike because the engine is just so fucking advanced.
The Nintendo hire this man type crowd where it's like, oh, he put Mario in Doom. Holy shit, Nintendo.
But yeah, that happened. So rejoice, everybody. We're getting Metroid Prime 4 in 2025. So I guess maybe they're planning on making it a launch title for the new one.
That would make sense, actually.
I really don't see how the Nintendo Switch 2 doesn't come out next year.
Well, they're revealing it later this year. They've already confirmed that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe next year. Could be.
Next holiday, right? Probably. Would make the most sense.
Do you know or remember what the time frame was when they unveiled the first Switch to when they actually launched? That could give you an idea.
Probably. I feel like probably 6 months would probably be right. Anyway.
Put your pre-orders in, though, folks, because actually, who knows?
Yeah.
Do you think they're going to try anything new zany with the new console? Like put a screen on the back of it and you have to flip it over all the time to play or something?
That'd be fucking awesome.
Stupid gimmick.
The controllers are on gyros and you have to spin it around really fast in your hands for certain games. Be fucking awesome.
It comes with a crank wheel that you have to crank to power it so that it doesn't run unless you...
No, that's a real thing. There's an indie console where it has a wheel on the side that you crank for video games.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah.
I forget what it's called, but I know.
Yeah. The Playdate. The Playdate. Jackson, look up the Playdate right now. This is a real console you can buy. It's got a fucking hand crank on the side for games.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's very cute.
Oh, so this is just like a little... It's not like an actual console.
No, it is. It's a Game
like
Boy.
A gimmick.
Yeah, it's like an indie thing that I think they kickstarted and then they began selling a few of them.
I don't know. This actually looks pretty cute. Wait, so does the crank...
Sure.
Does the crank power it, or is it used to like actually control the game? Because it looks like it controls the game.
It's for games.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's cute.
And I read a write-up on why they did it, and they were like, I don't know, it seemed fun. Why not? Let's just do it.
I like that sort of little stuff.
Yeah, I might pick that up.
I was sending Jackson they have a new, what is it called? The Game Boy Color ripoff, basically. Like not by Nintendo, but an indie company basically made a Nintendo Color. A Game Boy Color, and they were selling it, and I was sending that to Jackson because Jackson told me he's like collecting game cartridges and stuff. And I was almost tempted to get it because it looked so fancy and kind of fun. Like, it just rekindled my childlike joy. And then I saw a photo of the founder sitting in a room surrounded by like hentai figurines. And all of the enthusiasm left my body because it was just a bunch of like Funko Pops and plastic anime dolls. And I thought, oh, fuck, okay. Why would you use this as promotional material?
Oh, dear.
Are you that averse to the idea of your consoles being made by weebs?
Well, it's that, plus I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of, I have to collect these things and pay like $800 for Pokemon cartridges or whatever it is that you do, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know how far you are into it.
I'm not collecting figurines or any like, you know, gimmicky, not gimmicky stuff, but like, no, I'm really not. I've never been interested in like those figurines or action figures or anything of that sort. I'm mostly just collecting video games because I want to create an archive of old games that I played. I don't know. I just wanted to collect something, and I thought that was a cooler thing to collect than like, you know, magic cards or something.
Ooh, if our fourth host was here, I think he'd have something to say to defend himself on that one. Yeah.
That's fine.
I gotta get my shots in while he's gone.
Yeah. I get that though. I'm currently collecting guitars. I have way too fucking many. I need to sell some.
How many do you have?
Intentionally collecting them?
Yeah.
Why? Yeah. I mean, you see something you like, and you're like, oh, it's my budget, and you get it, and then when you play, you put it in a different tuning or setup, so it does play differently. But after a certain point, it becomes, okay, why do I have this one? What is it doing? I have right now. I think I have right now 12. And it's because I have like 4 in cases. That's a good question. That's a really good question.
Guitars aren't small. Where the fuck are they?
I was expecting like 4 or something. Yeah, not 12. That is
you walk into fucking Andrew's house, it looks like a fucking Hard Rock cafe, basically.
You're not wrong.
All the guitars
They're kind of everywhere. The biggest problem, the biggest offenders, 4 of them are just in cases because, like, they're older ones I just don't play anymore, and I just haven't gotten around to selling them, so they're just sitting in cases on the floor, not even looking cool or anything.
Your girlfriend, has she told you that you have a problem yet? Andrew, I'm tired of stepping over these.
You know, she's in a weird spot with that, because on the one hand she's like, wow, that is a cool guitar, and I don't want to quash your creativity, but on the other hand sometimes she's like, do you really need another? Really? I don't think you need to buy that one. And I'm like, oh, I do.
That's when you buy 2 more every time she complains.
Just out of spite. Take that.
Yeah.
And then I go into debt. It's worth it though.
Do you display guitar tendencies elsewhere? Like, do you buy like T-shirts with guitars on them, or is it just the guitars?
I've become a bit obsessed. I won't even lie. To tie back into our earlier discussion, one of the biggest reasons I have not been gaming lately is I've been practicing guitar in that time. I just when I have free time, that's what I prefer to do. It's just so much fun when you reach a certain level. Like, I'm not saying I'm amazing or great, but when you reach a certain level of skill with an instrument and you can kind of do what you want within reason, it opens doors. You know, you just make your own fun from that point. You just write whatever you want, play most of whatever you want.
Yeah, that's true of every hobby you're good at. I mean, they call it flow, right?
Yeah,
I think, if I remember correctly, where when you're in the zone and you're productive and you're tuned into what you're doing and you're good at it and you're enjoying it. And I think maybe that's like part of the reason why I just cannot enjoy difficult games anymore. Just I do not feel in the flow at all. And so I go do something dorky like read a fucking Linux manual, because then I'm in flow. that I'm actually kind of like okay at, and it's fun. Even though it just sounds like the fucking dorkiest shit.
No, I get you. There have been plenty of games I have tried lately, especially multiplayer games, where I'll play it for a couple hours and I'll go, this is fun, but I can see the meta and I don't want to learn it. I really don't want to try all the weapons, see which ones are the best, watch like videos on all this data, look at maps and go, oh, here's this shortcut and blah, blah, blah. I don't care. I'll play it, I'll have some fun, and then I'm done. You know what I mean? But when I was younger, absolutely 100%. Oh, I'm going to study the shit out of this. I'm going to watch every goddamn pro game I can think of. I'm going to run these stats, watch this comparison video, blah, 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 blah. Like, that was everything, you know? It just took up so much of my time.
Before we get accused of being curmudgeons again, let's get the youngin' opinion. Jackson, do you have any, like, have you found yourself lately just turning off a game to go do something else? Just like a regular hobby?
I honestly haven't really played many games lately. So, yeah, no, I've stopped playing games as much as I used to, definitely, over time. I just find it's, obviously, I like being more productive than just spending it on games now. But it's not necessarily that, like, games are bad, because I was having this thought the other day, like, I don't know, because of the amount of time I was spending away from games, I was like, are games bad now? And I don't agree with that assessment, because, like, last year was, like, full of good games. Like, Elden Ring, obviously. Just, like, a bunch of games, like Baldur's Gate 3. One of the best years in gaming. So I don't think games are getting worse.
No, I disagree with that, too. There's tons of fun stuff to do, and games are still fun when I'm drinking with my friends and we're playing Gardic or Jackbox and stuff, or Baldur's Gate. It's a lot of fun. It just, I guess maybe when you do it on your own, it's not as engaging anymore for me. I don't know. I like playing games on my own just as a like way to decompress and like take my own time. Like it is a pretty like nice solitary activity. It's just also like eventually I start to feel like I'm wasting time doing something that's not productive to my life. It's guilt. Yeah. Even if you're not wasting time, even if all of your chores are done, it just I feel guilty. I should be doing stuff. I should be moving and taking care of shit.
And we're wrapping back around to why I'm doing a lot of guitar for my hobby lately, because with that, at least when I'm pumping hours into it, I feel rewarded, you know? Like, if I get really good at most games, it's like, okay, I got good at that game, and that's where that ends. I either beat it or it's multiplayer, and it's just kind of there. Whereas with an instrument or tons of other hobbies, for example, you get something out of it. You know, when you're done with all those hours, you say, look what I can do. Look at these discussions I can have. Look at these things I can create. Whereas there's not that many games that feel like they give that same feedback. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you think you're the only person in history to have picked up the guitar and learnt for yourself to get something out of it instead of learning it to get pussy? Because I feel like every person when I was growing up, that was their like primary goal with learning guitar.
The acoustic guitar on the quad of the college campus, kind of guy. Yeah, I've seen that stereotype all too well.
Guitar definitely has that stereotype most out of like any instrument.
It absolutely does.
Oh yeah, for sure. You don't see guys like setting up theremins in the middle of the campus like fields, but
you reminded me of a great story related to that. So another stereotype that goes into guitar like that is the guys who want to play metal or hard rock or like death metal or all that, but they don't understand how to make a good sound. They just want to like cram and mash everything and slam on the guitar and think it sounds cool. So I went to a Guitar Center once, and I was waiting for, I think, the repair guy to come back, and I wanted him to look at a guitar. So I was like, okay, I got time to kill. He was at lunch or some shit. So I'm like fucking around with stuff. And there's a guy on an amplifier and guitar just trying to play stuff and clearly has no idea what he's doing. And he's like just twisting knobs and like trying to play, and he sounds really, really, really sloppy and really bad, but he's like hammering really fucking hard on the instrument, like beating the shit out of it, and it's just not good. And he's loud, and it's throughout the whole store and all this shit. And so I'm practicing in a different corner, and I'm okay. I'm not amazing by any means, but you know, I have some competency. And he comes up, and no. If you go to a guitar store, you will see this cool phenomenon where you have nothing but loners sitting in corners, all on their own amps, playing alone to themselves and making a cacophony of noise. Miserable. And it sounds like shit. And I feel bad for the employees, but you have to practice, man. You have to try the instrument if you're interested in buying it. There's no other way. So he comes over to my amp and he starts talking to me. He's like, oh, wow, that's a cool thing. And he goes, how did you get that tone on the guitar? How'd you get it to sound like that? It sounds good. And I went, well, I just put these settings here and do this. And he went, oh, can I try? And I go, yeah, sure. And I hand him the guitar. No, so he grabbed, no, I'm trying out one from the store.
No, I know, but it would be funny if he just like grabs it and
he runs out the door
perfectly. He goes and buys it, steals it from you.
So no, he grabs the guitar and immediately he starts turning every single knob on the amp. He's changing every single setting, and then he starts playing again. And he looks at me and he goes, "Oh, it doesn't sound as good. It doesn't sound as good as when you were playing." And I'm like, "No shit, you just changed every single setting." Because he didn't understand how to make it good. He thought one of the knobs that would make it sound better was just volume. So he turned it up to like 10 and started wailing, and it's loud as fuck. And I immediately turned it down. I'm like, well, we don't need volume. That's not going to change it. It's like, there's so many people you meet like that who don't understand the equipment or how the instrument even works.
Well, maybe he was buying it for his son that wanted to learn or something. Maybe he wasn't like...
No, he was not. I'll tell you why he wasn't, because he pulled out his phone to film himself playing as well. Because he was like, oh, I'm trying to start a band on YouTube. And I was like, good luck.
Oh, God.
Snapchat pussy.
Yeah.
How old was he?
Probably mid-20s, I would say, around there.
Oh, okay.
But
there's a lot
this
of people
whole
who just
camp.
think loud is good. Loud is better.
Yes. There's a huge stereotype in guitar of people who just crank everything to 10, turn all the knobs all the way up and think that sounds good when it really doesn't. It's really not right.
Not just guitar. Remember the loudness wars in music where like every freaking song had to be 2,000 billion decibels at some points. They finally reeled it back in, but a lot of people just associate loud stuff with good. because it stimulates your ears more.
Well, hang on now. Loud is funny. Hang on. I will fight that. Loud is funny.
No.
It totally is.
How? It's not.
Because if you're just being loud, it's not funny. But if the loudness is in contrast to everything else, it's definitely funny. Think about when you're watching a horror movie, like the original Final Destination, I think is where this happens. And it's a quiet dialogue scene, and all of a sudden a loud bus comes screaming by and hits someone. That's funny. That's actually funny.
That is such a hyper-specific situation.
Yeah, that's like one example.
It's funny because it's loud.
Okay.
That's the point.
Okay,
yeah, but Andrew, I think what Jackson is talking about is like when a streamer is just chimping out for no fucking reason.
Oh, that's not funny.
Yeah, that's all we mean is like screaming into the mic for no fucking reason and just dancing around. And yeah, children think that's fucking hilarious.
It's a balancing act. Like, loud can be funny. It can be used as a comedic weapon, but the problem is people overuse it and rely on it and, you know, burn it to death.
I'm saying these are two so different examples that it's not a balancing act, because you can't balance between a bus hitting someone in a Final Destination movie being funny and then also the streamers, you know, shouting and screaming and laughing about that. It's like two entirely different things. What's the balancing act there?
So all I'm trying to prove is that when you say loud is not funny, I think that's an oversimplification that people attribute. Scream reaction is not funny, but loud in certain comedic jokes can absolutely be the punchline. Think how many jokes you also think that have an explosion as the punchline, like someone blows up or something blows up. That's loud is funny. That's the whole point, you know?
Yeah, it's like subverting expectations.
Sure. So the kind of like shock value, cool. But like all I know is that every time someone sends me a meme where the entire joke is like a deep fried, extremely loud noise, I roll my eyes and like block that person, generally speaking. It's not funny.
Yeah.
Again, loud is only funny in contrast when you have context to it. But when the whole thing is loud, when the entire joke is that it's loud, then it's not funny. But if it's like, quiet thing, all of a sudden loud, or thing you wouldn't expect to be loud is loud, that to me can be funny.
Yeah, that's different from like these guys who just, their entire content is, I screech into the mic, I screech. 2 seconds of silence and then I screech again.
I genuinely don't know how people, and no offense to like you, if you like listening to this stuff or if you're a streamer that does this stuff, but like I literally cannot understand how people can listen to a streamer who screams just constantly for like, you know, an hour or two straight without getting like a splitting migraine. I can't deal with that kind of shit.
Yeah,
it hurts.
I can't even be in the same room. Turn that off.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sounding like a curmudgeon again. I have some good news.
Wait. Before, we've got even better news.
No, we've got to say bad news again first. Hang on.
No. Good news. Sponsors. Thanks to these guys for sponsoring this episode. You need a good night's sleep, and that's why we recommend Helix Sleep. They're the best in the business with the most comfortable mattresses ever created in the history of mankind. They're made to suit your needs. All you do is take the Helix Sleep quiz on the website, and Helix Sleep will pair you up with the perfect mattress designed specifically for your sleeping style and your back, giving you the best night's sleep. To make matters even better, they deliver it straight to your door free of charge. If for some reason you don't dig the night's sleep that you get, Helix offers a 100-night trial and a 10 to 15-year warranty as well, so you'll be sleeping in comfort knowing that Helix has your back both literally and figuratively. When I was in America, I slept on Andrew's Helix Sleep mattress and I absolutely loved it. I look back and it's one of my fondest memories with Andrew. Well, we weren't both sleeping on the mattress. It was just me, but it was still an incredible experience on that Helix Sleep mattress, specifically because of the cooling technology. I found myself, I didn't get hot at all really on it. Because of that cooling technology, I never felt hot, which was just super nice. But you can find out more by checking them out. Helix is offering up to 30% off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners. Go to helixsleep.com/official. Link will be in the description. That's helixsleep.com/official. This is their best offer yet, and it won't last long with Helix. Better sleep starts now. Big thank you to Helix for sponsoring the show. You do make fantastic mattresses. Highly recommend it to all of you listening. Thank you for listening to the show. Now, back to the episode.
Thank you.
God, they were so good.
God, I hope we have sponsors.
That was some good news. Yeah, if there's no sponsors, then that doesn't make sense. Just cut it out if there's no sponsors. Continue.
Go ahead, Kaya.
So as you guys know, I've had a very long rivalry with a company called Adobe. I do not like them. And they may finally be getting their comeuppance. Adobe is being sued by the FTC for deceptive subscription models. Yeah, I saw this and I was like, wait, the government is actually doing something useful? This isn't going anywhere, is it? But it's over the subscription canceling. So anybody who's ever been subscribed to Adobe, as you know, if you ever go to cancel your subscription, it's very arduous. It's an awkward process where you have to go through multiple screens, all of which try to discourage you and scare you into not canceling. And then on the final screen, it usually says something like, oh, by the way, as a part of our terms of service that you agreed to, you have to now pay us $500 to cancel. What? And a lot of people usually are like, what the fuck? Yeah, there's a cancellation fee. And the FTC, I suppose, is a little mad at Adobe over this. According to The Verge, the Justice Department alleges that Adobe hid early cancellation fees and trapped consumers in pricey subscriptions. So here's hoping. I have my fingers crossed.
How is that legal? You can't tie someone into like a subscription model and then charge them to get out of it.
Well, you can if they agree to it.
Oh, that's so stupid.
Well, the allegation is that they do tell you up front that there will be an early cancellation fee. They just kind of hide it. Like it's like a little pop-up over a question mark that you have to hover your mouse over.
Wow.
Where it says that there might be a fee. So it's like very sneaky. And like I said, the cancellation process is also difficult. So I guess the government finally took notice of everybody bitching about Adobe, who was also in hot waters like 2 weeks ago, I think, because people were launching their Photoshops and their, Premiere Pros and whatnot to work on their projects. And they noticed that they had to agree to a new terms of service saying, hey, we own all of your content and we are going to train AI on it now.
Yep. I remember that.
He was very angry about this. They have since walked it back, but I mean, it's Adobe. They're still going to do it.
I mean, fuck Adobe.
The worst company, man.
Oh, fuck Adobe.
Since the very minute they switched to a permanent subscription fee, I have despised them. Like, they had issues before then, but I was like, nah, it's good product. I get it. It works. But then subscription model comes out purely for, oh, we're making more money. It just makes us more money. We may as well do it. Fuck them. From that point on, fuck Adobe. Everything they get, they deserve.
I hate these corporations where money just isn't enough. Like, I get it. In capitalism, like, you always have to, increase profits for shareholders or whatever. But I just hate how there's never enough money for them, and they always have to go down these, anti-consumer routes that are just so slimy. It's never enough. It's never enough.
They could make so much good customer faith if when the subscription models came out, all they said was, look, you paid for these programs, you have them, but if you want a subscription to Adobe Cloud or these filters or this thing we developed or these other things, then we have a subscription model. You can buy our programs, but if you want more from us, you can subscribe and pay us a yearly fee. And that's it. They still would have made a shitload of money off of it and had all the consumers on their side been like, well, you don't have to pay for it. It's fine.
That's usually how they start. That's usually how, especially audio companies, Andrew, you might know about this, but when companies like Isotope and Native Instruments, when they start their plugin subscriptions, that's how they usually introduce it. Hey, look, not everybody has $2,000 for our latest synthesizer or whatever the fuck.
Right.
So how about instead you just pay $9 a month and you get all of our products. And 2 years later, before you know it, the subscription is the only option that you have. And Adobe has been doing this for a while, and there are alternatives. Jackson knows I nag people in my private life to try alternatives. I think I've successfully nagged Jackson into trying an Illustrator alternative that he liked.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he still uses it or what.
I don't, but not because it was bad or anything. It's just because I don't really need an Illustrator at the moment. If I did, I would use it.
Give some recommendations to the fans. What are some good alternatives to Adobe they can look into?
Affinity products. So Affinity Photo is a good alternative to Photoshop.
Didn't they just start subscriptions as well, though? Weren't you telling me that they just started subscriptions?
Well, bad things are happening. So Affinity got purchased by Canva. I don't know how to say it, but their company is apparently also balls deep into AI and subscription models. So a lot of people were wondering, okay, what the fuck? So I bought your Affinity photo. Is it going to be subscription only from now on? They promised up and down the streets that they were never going to go subscription only, but who knows? It's a company. They can ass rape you whenever they feel like it. But for now, I think that's the good alternative. And for video projects, DaVinci Resolve. DaVinci Resolve actually has a free version that I think covers like 99% of an average content creator's needs.
I tried a bit of DaVinci. We're back to the fucking Elden Ring argument where I don't know if I want to spend all the time switching over to it and figuring it out, but it looked very impressive. I really liked what was there.
It's a good workhouse.
The thing I hate about Adobe alternatives is that people usually go to the crummiest products like GIMP. You don't want to use Photoshop, just use GIMP. That's like telling somebody to use MS Paint instead. It's so insane. And I maintain my conspiracy theory, by the way, that GIMP is secretly run by Adobe in order to discredit Photoshop alternatives.
Yeah.
Yes, because every single time anybody even has the idea of, hey, maybe I should try an alternative to Photoshop, immediately the first suggestion is, yeah, just download GIMP. And they do, and they see that it sucks ass. It's a janky paint, basically. And they go, oh, well, I guess I'm stuck with Photoshop. There is no way out of Adobe's ecosystem. Adobe is behind it. Mark my fucking words. 200 years from now, I will be proven right when somebody FOIAs those documents. Don't use GIMP anyway.
I really wouldn't be surprised if Adobe was behind 9/11. They are an evil company. They've done everything. So you've convinced me immediately.
They killed JFK. What next, Adobe?
I hope the FTC sues them for that next. They really deserve to pay for that. Oh, man.
But yeah, anyway, they're in hot waters, so fuck Adobe.
Yeah, didn't you say this was a feel good? Oh, that was uplifting because they're getting fucked by the law, right?
Well, people at least noticing. There's a lot of stuff now in tech where normies are kind of noticing bad things that I think is uplifting. Same thing with Google. Like people noticing that Google just sucks ass now. It used to be, it would just be people like me noticing, oh, these results are, the ranking of these results seems biased. There's a lot of advertising pushed into it and whatnot. And now just regular grandmas even notice that it sucks ass. And I'm glad about that sort of stuff. I'm glad that people are noticing.
Wait, what are grandmas noticing? Grandmas are noticing Adobe is bad?
No, keep up. I'm saying that even normal people who use Google now say things like, oh man, Google sucks now. Right. Is there anything better I can use? The same thing with Adobe. Even people who are very deeply entrenched and have been using Adobe for decades are now going, yeah, might be time for an alternative. This is fucking insane. I don't want, I do projects for clients and I can't have their work be used for AI by Adobe. I think that's a good thing. That's everyday people, they're just noticing that they're getting ass fucked by these companies.
The cool thing about Google now is that the first half of the results are just worthless space. Every single time you search on Google now, you have to scroll more than half the page before you find actual results, because you have your little search thing, and then you have all their proprietary stuff at the top, which, okay, whatever. Then they have their AI overview, which takes up a huge chunk of the page. Then it's 3 or 4 sponsored results. And then finally, after all of that, you finally get maybe a result you want. Maybe. Depends. Fucking sucks.
Even then, it might be written by AI, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, God. Why are we at the point where we have to add, Reddit to the end of every single result just so we can see actual people's thoughts on whatever,
that's not even going to work anymore because they just purchased the rights to all of Reddit's content, so that's going away, too. The one thing Google had, and they decided, no, child, we're going to put this into our AI results now. Enjoy prison. It's I don't know. Everything sucks. What doesn't suck, though, is Jackson was sharing PUA tweets with us, and I'm enjoying those. Did you want to talk about that, Jackson?
PUA?
Wait, you should PUA, pickup artists.
Pickup artist
tweets.
Right.
like dudes who like try to teach other dudes on how to pick up women.
Yes, I am one of them. I'm aware.
Yes. Well, actually, Andrew, okay, you've been in a relationship for a long time.
Yeah.
All three of us have, really. How easy do you think it would be for you to go out and pick up a woman? Like, I'm talking like at a bar, using only your words, by the way.
If we're talking like out in the wild, probably not. But if I don't know, if it were at a place that interests were shared, like a convention or I don't know, a game tournament or a music store, then I think that'd be a lot easier. But if you're talking just in the wild, like I see a woman at the park or in a bar or whatever, probably really not good. I don't know what the fuck I would do.
What do you mean by wild? It's not RuneScape. We're just talking about like at a bar.
Okay, in the fucking habitat of humanity, Jackson. What do you know what I mean by in the wild? out in the fucking existence of reality. What do you want me to say? Outside.
In the PvE zone.
In the PvE zone.
Yeah.
In the Guild's Tavern, if you will. No, I'm saying if I were in a place where I knew people were sharing an interest, I think it'd be pretty easy to talk to someone. But I think if I were just at a bar or a random place, it would be a lot harder, is what I'm saying. My odds, if you're saying, Andrew, if you're out at a bar right now, pick up a woman, I don't think my odds would be nearly as good as if I felt more comfortable somewhere else, is what I'm saying.
What do you think your issue is? Do you think you wouldn't be able to be charming enough, or do you think that you're just not there mentally?
You're a stranger.
I think, you're more of a stranger and nothing in common. Yeah.
Dudes pick up chicks at bars all the time. What's making you different? You'd be able to do it. You're charming. You're witty.
Fuck! I'm signing up for the pickup artist plan right now, Jackson. Who do you recommend?
I'm really.
Ooh, Hustlers University. Let's
you
go.
Got me.
Yeah.
Hook, line, and sinkered my ass. Who should I sign up for? Who's going to get me laid right now, Jackson?
Andrew Tate.
Yeah, I was just sending tweets to Kaya from this Modern Virility at Modern Virility on Twitter. Young men in the audience, go check out Modern Virility for real good advice. So his tweet says, Ryan Garcia isn't just a professional boxer, but also a seducer. He started flirting with Bobby Althoff, which is like another influencer, in less than an hour. Here's how he did it. And then he's like got two pictures. It's like a long tweet thread, basically. The next tweet is, why is this flirting impressive, you may ask? It's because Bobby is known for her strong character, which she never breaks. However, with Ryan, because of his character, she broke it multiple times and laughed with him. Now, let's get to why he turns her on and flirts. And this is like where I was like immediately
what
like, this guy is so hyper-focused on like how horny Ryan Garcia is making people. It's like nothing about the woman or anything. It's like, here's why he turns her on. Here's why he gives me a boner, basically. He's like,
yeah, the interesting phenomenon of like the fans of all these pickup artists like Andrew Tate is that all of their fans have like literally dozens of photos saved of these guys like shirtless, idolizing them. Like, yeah, look how muscular Andrew Tate is. Yeah, that's how he gets pussy. Look at his pecs.
I don't think any of these people
who are you lusting after?
Yeah.
The women are very secondary. I think they genuinely just idealize the idea of an alpha male macho, a manly man that they want to be. It's like looking up to a superhero. And the woman that the superhero saves is sort of, it's secondary. She's there, I guess, but the story is about my superhero that I'm idolizing.
Does this mean that if I seduce and fuck the pickup artist, I'm now superior to them? Like I'm up on the food chain, I'm higher up?
Like the Spartans, you could like, you absorb his victories are now yours. You know, all of the women that he had picked up are now your women.
Exactly. It's like a tier structure, a totem pole, if you will. And if I'm on top, yeah.
As we've established, the women don't matter. I mean, like they're ancillary. It's like you don't want them as your conquest tools. You're after the dude. We got to remember that part.
Yeah, the women are always just mentioned as an aside. It's like having a Bugatti or a Lambo. You know, I have 8 Lambos. Well, that's nice, but it's not really about the car. It's about the fact. It's about the fact that you were able to afford it. What a man's man you are. They don't actually really care about anything related to the opposite sex sometimes. I always go back to that one tweet that I saw that is now etched in my brain where some guy said that if he was on a date with a hot girl and Andrew Tate called a meeting, he would blow her off and go to the meeting because, the war room comes first or whatever something he said. Just the gayest fucking worship of another man. Just the most subservient, supplicant, bootlicking gay worship of another man. It's truly, I don't know.
That's what it is. I wouldn't really care if like these guys were in love with like the Andrew Tates or whatever, because fair enough, like whatever. You love what you love. But it's like the denial almost, where they're like using the women as a shield to mask their own homosexuality. Like, just be open about it. Just admit that you're gay for Andrew Tate. Like, it's fine.
Yeah. I think it's embarrassing to worship another person to of any caliber to that level. Like, have some fucking self-worth. Find your own identity. You can use people as examples and as inspiration, but you should never base your entire life around, if I get a phone call from this person, I'm dropping everything. My whole life is upended by this person texting me. Like, no. It's fucking pathetic.
The internet really made it so common that we don't even see it as that anymore. Like, you guys remember the typical cult cliche where the cult leader would be like, he would turn to one of his followers and say, hey, God told me that I should have sex with your wife. And the guy would go, oh yeah, of course. Thank you, Mr. Jones. Yeah, here she is. And that's where we're at now. The internet has made the world so fucking flat and small that all these guys follow one dude who, if he asked, they would genuinely just let him rail their girlfriend. Because they think of it as some sort of an honor. It's so bizarre. I don't even know who the fuck Ryan Garcia is. I don't know who Bobby Althoff is. In the video that Jackson was describing, they're just being playful. She like runs around and then he chases her around. And that's it. And somehow this is like the super secret to getting women, by the way. It's just like boy-girl relationships from 3rd grade as you chase them around.
But like getting women is like getting women. It sounds barbaric almost, but like, winning the heart. I'll put it in a more gentler way. Winning the hearts of the opposite sex is like
who's the MMORPG guy now? What do you mean, Jackson? Are they out in the wild, or did you find them in captivity?
All right, getting laid. Getting laid is like
there you go.
Easy. Just like be confident, treat the other person as a person and not like a thing to put your penis into. Like, that's it. Just confidence and that, like, treating them as a person. Like, pretty straightforward.
And accept that rejection is normal. Like the example you brought up of Andrew going to a bar or whatever. If you're complete strangers like that, 99.9% of the time you're gonna get shot down. And sometimes the women are going to be mean about it too. They're going to be giggling and laughing at you.
You're going to deserve it.
It is what it is. Yeah, that's just part of life. You're not angling for most of them. You're angling for the 0.1% who will say yes and give you a shot. And that's it. And don't hate the opposite sex. This is like universal advice. Just stop hating the opposite sex.
Stop treating it like it's like live or die as well. Like, I need to get some pussy, otherwise I will literally die. Like, content in yourself. Be content in yourself first and foremost.
I was going to critique those other guys with a point alongside that. Stop treating it like conquest. Stop treating it like trophies. There's a sense of accomplishment when you ask a girl out and it works and all that, but it's not like this in the grand scheme of things, it means nothing. It really doesn't mean anything as an accomplishment. It means something if the relationship goes somewhere, or if you make a new friend, or you get something out of it. But just putting a check mark on a list is like, it's such a sad way to look at it.
Impressive.
It's an empty way of living life, dude.
It really is just a hollow way of looking at it.
No, it's not just hollow, but it's not even that impressive. These guys get a date and they act as if they were like Columbus conquering a whole new fucking continent. Like you're the conquistador Cortez. No, a girl said yes to having dinner with you.
Yeah.
Get over yourself. It's not that big of a fucking achievement.
Just take the camera lens out a little bit. Look at how much emphasis you put on getting a woman to notice you, getting a woman to agree to a date, getting a woman to do this. Why are you putting so much of your life on another person? It's such a nothing conquest, if that's what they want to call it. That there's so many more fulfilling and better things you can do with your life, and the whole point of that scenario should be, hey, I want another person to share these things with, not I got another woman under my belt. It's just fucking demeaning to them, and it's unfulfilling to you.
Yeah. It's immature. It's immature way of looking at life.
I don't know if you guys remember, but I told you, I call these people spiritually gay. They genuinely just do not care about the female companionship at all. To them, it's just another, it's like bragging about making enough money to have a heated pool or something.
Dude, that's exactly what it is.
Got women.
They're only having sex to impress other men, which is infinitely more gay than anything.
Absolutely correct.
It's actually less gay to just take dick in your ass than it is to do that. Seriously.
They do it absolutely in their head just to go, oh, look, Tate would be proud of me. Oh, this pickup artist, he would be so proud of me. Like, really? Really? Think about what you're doing.
Okay, so if you're like... If you're fucking a woman and your only thoughts are like, oh man, Andrew Tate would be so fucking proud of you right now. Andrew Tate. All you think about is Andrew Tate while you're going ham. Like, come on. Accept the fact that you're gay. Like, just do it. It's going to be great. And dude, if you accept the fact that you're gay, you'll get laid like way more probably because, you know, you'll be more...
yeah, dude, just be gay. It's fine.
You know,
it'll make things way less confusing for you. Let's put it that way.
Exactly.
We're all in your corner, Tiger.
Easily. Yeah, that's wild.
Oh, boy. The internet is such a fun place, isn't it?
Yeah. The conversation, the thing that you said before, Kaya, about how, like, it kind of sounded like you were saying Andrew Tate is the modern day Jesus with how everyone, like, props him up and there's like these people that everyone follows, and it's like we used to think like Jesus can't be real because how would that happen? How would everyone just like believe to follow this dude or whatever? But you're right, it genuinely does happen in this day and age still. Like, absolutely still happens. It's wild.
It happens. I mean, back in the day, imagine if we didn't have modern internet and phone cameras and whatnot, if Andrew Tate went around saying, yeah, I can walk on water and I fuck bitches on water, some of these guys would genuinely think that's real. They would be like, yeah, he's God's chosen man. Holy shit. It's very pathetic.
The internet has segmented popularity more than anything we've ever seen in human history. You can have entire swaths of people devoted to a person or a cause, and it's huge, but it's just in its own bubble. You know, it just can exist unfettered, unchallenged. And with these pickup artist things, they hop on Twitter or Instagram or where the fuck ever. And yeah, there's haters and people make fun of them, but you can do a really good job of never seeing that if you just sit into the right circles, you know? And then it becomes, oh, this is right, this is legit, this is working, this is great. It's how all the conspiracy theories are coming back. Because if you, let's say you're a stupid flat earther, you can sit on that part of Twitter that just goes, here's the proof and it's real. And that's it. You never have to see any challenge to it. You never have to see any contradictory stuff. You're just given your stuff and you go away.
I just got shivers. You said the challenge word. That makes me uncomfy. I don't want to do that. I don't want any.
No one gets challenged in this day and age. No. I want my little hug box for whatever I like. Oh yeah.
It's the worship that's the cringiest.
Oh man, I hate worship online. I hate it so fucking much. But one of the funniest things about Jesus, I just had a fucking brain meltdown. I forgot what I was going to say when you brought up worship. Never mind. I don't know what I was going to say.
I'm sorry.
You broke my brain. Okay? No. I've been up too long. Fuck. Damn it. It was really important. Whatever I was going to say was really important. That's going to drive me crazy.
Well, think a little. All I was going to say is that the worship thing, like, I think I've said this before, but there is a reason that every major religion on earth has forbidden idol worship, like idolatry. Stop worshiping men. You know, if you have a favorite content creator on the internet or a pickup artist, that's fine, but really think about how would I feel if this guy got hit by a bus right now? If you are broken up about that thought, then maybe it's time to reevaluate what your values are, really. You shouldn't be worshiping another man.
Not a single human being on this planet is better than you or worth more than anything than you. They might have different talents or skills than you do, but yeah, there's no person on the planet that you should consider above you. Like, straight up. You can have respect for people, you can see status, you can see things that exist, constructs, but don't ever have a literal hero worship. Don't treat people in real life like Superman. You know, they don't exist like that. There's no person like that. And when you start living like that, that's when you devalue yourself. And that leads to just all sorts of terrible problems.
What do you mean? Andrew, you're pretty cool. You're pretty cool.
Thank you, Jackson. Thank you. And you're a host of the show.
Yeah. I think that's what I was going to say. That's what I forgot to say. It was a compliment towards Andrew. That's why it was so cool.
Right. I think that whenever we can't think of anything to talk about, we should just compliment me for the rest of the show. I'm totally okay with that.
You know, one of my core memories of the official podcast was, I think it was like maybe 1 year into the podcast runtime, and we all took turns complimenting each other for an episode.
Oh, yeah.
That was episode 100.
Only memory. Was it?
I think so.
Yeah, we had an episode once where when we did fan questions, one of the fans said, "Can you guys go around the room and compliment each other?"
That's what I was thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one.
That was a cool episode.
That got me thinking, though, because that's one of the only memories of the podcast that I have, and it's explicitly because it feels good to be complimented, and I don't think men get complimented enough. So the fact that I was complimented in that episode, that's the reason why I remember it. Is that sad?
Aww. No, it's a cultural thing. It's starting to get a lot better now, but throughout, I mean, all of fucking history, men were taught to be not emotional, strong, not share their feelings,
not care about compliments and stuff.
Think about how many stereotypes you see of older men who are just like total hard asses, never emotional, never cry, never anything. Oh, you know, man up, all that shit. It's gotten better now. Men are much more encouraged now to share their feelings and be bonding with people. Like, think how many people younger you see now, they say I love you to your friends and shit like that. Like, you know, things you would never, ever hear throughout the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, et cetera, without people thinking, oh, what are you funny in the head? You love your friend? What does that mean, huh? That means something more. You need a psychologist? Like shit like that. Yeah. How many times have I told you not to love your friends, Bobby?
I don't want to hear that from my male friends.
Why not? I love you, Kyle.
Instinctive. No, just call me the F word, please. No, I don't want to hear I love you from men.
Oh, but I do. I love you. What's wrong with loving you?
So how about that Dr. Disrespect drama?
Did Dr. Disrespect tell you that he loves you too? Come on, you can say it back. You can say it back on the podcast. It's okay. You can say it.
No.
Oh, you fucking coward. You're such a pussy.
I get it making you uncomfortable as well. I get it also making you uncomfortable. It's a preference thing. Some people are open with their feelings. Some people don't want to be. It's fine. Kaya doesn't have to be.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Do you guys want to wrap that on that note?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this episode. We'll talk about Elden Ring next week when Charlie's here more, probably, because I think he's finished it. So, yeah, we'll talk about it then in detail. Kai will have finished it by then. So will Andrew. We promise. Other than that, patreon.com/theofficialpodcast for bonus episodes of this show. Well, wait, no, we don't do those anymore. But we do kind of.
Jackson.
Kai and myself, Kai and myself do one bonus a month. So there's bonuses over there, bonus content over there anyway. There's a lot of bonus content over there, as well as early episodes, early access, ad-free content. I just posted a 30-minute Q&A with me over there about Red Thread. So that's up there. There's a bunch of other stuff up there. Patreon.com/theofficialpodcast. Thank you very much if you choose to support us there. And thank you very much for listening. It really does mean so much to all of us. Still having you guys here with us. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.